For those of you wondering, this is the state of the sprinkler system currently. Doing some upgrades from some problems we had from the initial install. Full video coming on that soon. How's it going, eh? Welcome back to the Great Blue North. Today we are going to be talking about spring seeding and spring lawn seeding myths. So as you can see, my lawn here is definitely in full growth. May is normally the best month of the year for cool season, warm season, any type of grass. And as you can see here, definitely nice and thick, nice and green. She looks really nice. Just had a mow on this a couple days ago. For those of you who follow me, you know that I cut tall. This is at 4 inches. So this is the way I like it, and this is the way that I find is the easiest and quickest way to get a nice green thick lawn and to combat weeds. So without further ado, let's start talking about lawn myths and seeding in the spring. So first of all, those who've been around for a while know that I tend to discourage seeding in the spring, and I'm still going to continue to do that. Honestly, spring is not the best time for seeding. The weather is way too unpredictable. As you can see, I put my irrigation system in 3 weeks ago and it was 26 degrees. So many people were putting down seed at that time. That was about mid-April. We haven't had a day over 26 degrees since. We haven't had a day over 20 since. So as you can see, weather in May is extremely unpredictable, and considering this too in the spring where we live in most of the northern states, southern Canada, in the spring we tend to get we still get a lot of frosts. Today is May 7th and we're supposed to have a frost overnight tonight, which is definitely going to put a damper on things that are already growing. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot seed in the spring. You can seed in the spring, but this unpredictability with the freezing and thawing will definitely have an effect on your results if you do seed in the spring. Going into summer is a time of stress. For those of you who don't know, summer and winter are pretty much similar stresses on your grass. That's why your lawn goes into dormancy or it turns brown in the summertime. Now, the problem with this is if you put down a whole bunch of new seedlings and they're not fully established, the root system is very shallow. When you go to seed, or when you go into the summer, those seedlings are going to die off because that surface of the soil is not going to be able to retain enough water to keep those seeds healthy and living. So this is another thing that you need to think about when you're seeding in the spring, is managing your expectations, knowing that you're probably not going to get the best results or the results that you want by the fall. Fall is definitely the best time to seed. If you seed 6 to 8 weeks before your first crop damaging frost, then you can make sure that you get a great stand of grass growing next spring when you start pushing it with fertilizer. This whole lawn has been overseeded 3 or 4 times in the fall overseed aeration. That's the plan that I like to do, and as you can see, it has worked. That plan will give you more success. So now you're probably wondering, well, Wade, what should I do then? Now here's the main outlier. If your lawn is less than 30% grass, you can overseed in the spring. Now this is probably going to be a full project. So you're going to either kill back your lawn, or because you don't have much grass, 30% grass, you're going to either kill it back or overseed and try to push out the weeds naturally. Either way, you're going to have struggles in the spring. But if your lawn is less than 30% grass, go ahead and overseed in the spring. You need to manage your expectations. Your lawn is not going to be perfect by summer, and you're going to have to do another overseed, aeration, and fertilizer program in the fall to get your lawn looking like this next year. So this is not a one and done deal. You can't just seed in the spring and expect everything to go. You might have to water in the summer to keep your seed from dying, and you have to manage your expectations. Some summers are a lot warmer than others. Some summers you get lucky. You get a lot of rain and it's not too bad. So far this year seems like it's not too bad. It hasn't been super dry, although we have been sitting drier than normal for springtime. So that is also another thing to keep into consideration. So for those of you in southern Ontario or south, our seeding window in the spring is just opening up here. So that means that when you put down seed, it's going to be warm enough for that seed to germinate. The temperatures are going to be between 8 and 20 degrees Celsius, which is the best time to get that seed germinating. So we're in our seeding window right now. So for those of you looking to seed, now is the time to do it. But only do this if your lawn is less than 30% grass. Now I'm going to tell you what to do if your lawn is more than 30% grass. So if you're new here and your lawn is more than 30% grass, what you're going to do is push it with my fertilizer program. Number one, you're going to focus on good mowing practices. You're going to mow tall. Number 2, you're going to fertilize about once a month. You're going to follow my spoon feeding program, putting down about 3 pounds per thousand of fertilizer once every month, all spring long. This is going to help strengthen your lawn for the summer, which is the biggest time of stress for our lawns. So we want to make sure that those roots are deep and healthy. 3, if you can, you're going to water throughout the summer. Now, this is just kind of a thing that I think is a lot of myth. People don't water their lawn because they think it's too expensive. Well, if you have to reseed and replace your lawn every fall because you didn't water in the summer, what is more expensive, the water or the seed, the aeration, and the struggle and the stress with having to replace your lawn and worry about weeds taking over? That is why I believe that definitely watering your lawn throughout the summer is important. Now, obviously, I know that people can't water their whole lawn. I live on an acre. I struggle to water all this, but I try my best. And same as you. If you can't water enough to keep it green and lush, you can at least give it small doses of water to keep it alive, to keep it from completely burning out as the summer heat comes in. Following these methods, you're going to be able to strengthen your lawn without having to seed in the spring, because seeding in the spring is just, it doesn't work super well. So that's lawn myth number 1. Do not seed in the spring, please. I've seen so many people throw down seed in the spring. They're just wasting their money. The best thing to do, if your lawn is thinnish in the spring, push it with fertilizer, push it with mowing, wait until the fall. Second lawn myth that I see all the time that drives me crazy, it's not really a myth, but top dressing. Now, I get a lot of questions about leveling, and I am going to be doing a full video on leveling soon. I have some leveling issues myself because of the irrigation system I put in. However, top dressing, I do believe I see a lot of people top dressing all the time in the spring and the fall, putting down a whole bunch of soil over top of their already pretty well established lawns and putting seed over top of that. I personally believe top dressing is awful. I have never seen anybody top dress their lawn and get great results. If you do top dress, you have to put a very, very, very thin coat of soil on it. A lot of people end up smothering the grass that's already there because their grass is either too long or too thick to top dress. And then same thing with top dressing here. When you add fertilizer into your lawn, you can manage it with the spreader. You can put it down at a proper rate and make sure it's evenly covered over the whole lawn. It's very difficult to evenly spread soil over your entire lawn unless you get some professional spreading products that we use that they use at golf courses or agricultural places like a sod farm. This is why I personally believe that top dressing does not work. It never works. The best thing to do is work with your soil that's already there. If you add a little bit of soil on top, that's really nice soil for that grass to grow in. Once those roots pass that soil, they're just going to hit your regular crappy old soil that you have, and it's going to die. The best thing to do is work on your soil. Work in my fertilizer program, work on your soil, and then your soil will help strengthen your lawn. So once you've improved that soil, you can go ahead, and my entire lawn, my entire back lawn, my entire front lawn, my entire side lawn, the soil is so nutrient that I can just go ahead, put a rake through the soil, drop seed down, and it will grow and it will be healthy. That's what you want. You want to make sure that you're working on your soil to make it healthy enough that you can put seeds in it. So this is why I discourage among top dressing. If you're looking at top dressing, don't do it. The best thing to do is get an aerator, aerate your lawn. That will poke those mechanical holes in your lawn and then allow overseed after that. Allow that seed to fall down into your natural lawn, getting seed to soil contact, and you will get great results from that. But once again, as I said earlier, I would discourage doing this aeration and overseed in the spring, as spring is just too unpredictable. It's not time to seed. You need to wait till the fall until you get your seeding in. By the way, I have moved to recording in the evening here because the camera battery did die, but look at the sun on the lawn here. It just looks great. It looks awesome. A couple more myths about seeding in the spring that I see a lot of times. Number 1, people seed and expect the seed to come up within a couple of days. That's not going to happen. Most seeds take at least 14 days to germinate, if not longer. Ryegrass being the quickest, which is about 7 to 10 days. So if you're looking for a good stand of grass to come up quickly, you're not going to get that out of grass. Most grass seeds are going to take up to 14 days. Bluegrass takes up to 14 days. Fescues are normally in between that 10 to 12 range, and then your rye is normally 7 to 10 days. And that's just until it pops out of the ground. So it's just going to sit doing nothing for that long. And that's also if temperatures are in optimal regions. If they're not, the grass will sit and doing nothing for maybe up to a month until the temperatures get to the optimal range. So when you're watering your seed, Don't give up on watering if you're not seeing anything come up. Don't grab the bag and put down more seed if you're not seeing anything come up. You need to wait at least a month until you're going to see the final results of your seeding before it's time to go ahead and add more seed. Because honestly, you're not going to see any major results to your seeding until at least a month, maybe even longer. So I see a lot of people putting down seed and then a couple days later coming back putting down more seed because they think it didn't work. It does work, it just takes time. It normally sits on the ground for at least 2 weeks. So keep that in mind when you're seeding, that it's something, it should sit on the ground for at least a week, maybe even 2 weeks, doing nothing, and it can sit on the ground for longer if temperatures are not in an optimal range. Finally, watering. I see a lot of people putting down seed because it's going to rain the next day and they think that this is optimal watering to grow their grass seed. No, it's not. You can put down fertilizer and it's going to rain the next day and it will rain your fertilizer right in. Half inch of rain will allow that fertilizer to get in, your lawn will look great. However, with seed, you have to keep that seed damp for the 14 days that it takes for it to germinate. And then after that, you have to keep it damp for at least another 2 weeks until the roots become established enough to deal with any serious drought. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because in the spring, we normally get a heat wave around May 2-4 weekend, as up here in Canada, Memorial Day weekend down in the States. And these serious heat wings can affect your seed because your seed's not deeply rooted enough. Just another reason why you shouldn't seed in the spring. But for those of you who are seeding in the spring, you need to keep this in mind that you need, during these heat waves, you need to water maybe 2-3 times a day to keep that seed established if you don't want to lose it. Seed is very delicate when it's established. You can't just go on it and pretend like it's a lawn. In the end, folks, in the end of the day, your lawn is a plant, and it's very delicate. Well, it's not super delicate, but it's delicate enough that you need to take care of it. It's a living thing, just like you and me, and it's not indestructible. So you need to keep that in mind whenever you're doing anything to the lawn. Your lawn's a plant, your lawn's a living thing, and you have to treat it just like you would treat yourself. Finally, we're going to talk about mowing. This is the biggest lawn myth I see all the time. Number one, I see a lot of stuff about people saying, I mow short once a month to help keep the lawn, to make sure that the lawn grows at least a little as possible. That's a myth. If you mow short, you actually encourage growth in your lawn, unless you're scalping, because you've cut off all of the leaf surface on that blade. So now your lawn has decided that it's going to focus all of its energy on growing up instead of growing root growth down into the ground. The higher you cut, the more you keep, and the higher you cut and the more often you cut, the more you keep cutting the top of that grass off, the more the grass will just go, okay, I'm going to grow out, I'm going to become more thick, or I'm going to grow down and I'm going to grow more roots. And this way you get a thicker, healthier lawn a lot quicker. This is why in my program I encourage you guys cutting at 4 inches pretty much from beginning of May. I'm at 4 inches right now in the backyard, all the way to about early mid-September. This is going to allow you to keep your lawn as thick and as healthy as possible, as number one, it encourages the lawn, as I said, to send roots down and thicken out. The thicker the lawn, the healthier it's going to be. It's going to push out roots naturally when it's going to push out weeds naturally when it sends its roots down. It's going to become more drought tolerant, more disease tolerant as it's more established in that ground, and the roots are digging deeper, not at the surface where if a little bit of sun comes, it will instantly dry out the plant. But secondly, while you're cutting tall, in the summertime, you're also shading your root system. You're shading that soil because the grass is so tall. So this allows that soil to stay more wet, and it helps the soil from losing heat, or from losing moisture into the sun during the hot summer days. As it shades that root system, it keeps your roots more moist and it keeps the water in the ground longer. So that's it, guys. That's the lawn myths that I wanted to cover today. Thank you guys for watching. We just hit 200 subscribers, so thank you guys for doing that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for allowing us to get to that point. Without further ado, leave any questions you have down below. Q&A video will be coming soon, as well as a lawn leveling video and part 3 and 4 to the irrigation install. So from the Great Green North, my name is Wade Murray. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that I helped debunk these lawn myths and that it helped you. I hope you guys are having a great spring and that your lawn is looking great. From the Great Green North, my name is Wade Murray. Keep it green.
What you do here? 'Cause I don't love you, boy. I wanna shoot to the